once again, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. For this video, I am coloring, as you can see, that really old Anna illustration that I did like 2 years ago because I'm horrible and forgot about it. But I've been meaning to color this for a really long time, and I did not even realize how long ago I drew this. I went back onto my Instagram and checked when I posted the original image, and it was, I want to say it was 81 weeks ago, so it's been a little while. I drew this right after Frozen came out in theaters, like, I think it came out on November 27th or something. It was at the end of November in 2013, and I drew this right after I got back from the theater and had seen it for the first time, so I've had it waiting to be colored for a very long time. I am working with a new camera and lighting for this video, so if things are a little bit strange, that's why. I got a camcorder on Black Friday, and I wanted to see if I liked that better than working on my DSLR, and I definitely like this a lot better. And I have a new lighting setup that I'm kind of still tweaking, so if this video seems a little bit dark, that's why. Next time it hopefully won't be like this. I think I've figured out how to do this, but this was the first image that I colored using my new setup, so that's why it's a bit dim. I'm trying to decide still if I'm going to bring it into like Premiere Pro and brighten it up a bit, but if it's a little weird looking, that's why, and I do apologize. I didn't realize that it was going to be quite as dim as this when I was filming, but you know. And as I said, I drew this many moons ago. I am working on a different type of paper than I usually am, because as you can see, I'm working with colored pencils. The paper I am using is Stonehenge brand, and this is 8.5 by 11, but the sheet that this paper came in was actually really big. I think it's 22 by 30, so it's a very large size, but I had cut it down to a more manageable size because I don't tend to, like, I don't do any work that's 22 by 30. It's so hard to work at that scale for me, but so this is Stonehenge paper cut down to a smaller size. The color of the paper is Fawn, I believe. That's the tone of the paper. They have a bunch of different tones of paper that they make. This paper is actually the paper that one of my favorite artists use. Her name is Jennifer Healy, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, but she uses colored pencil on this paper, and that's why I decided to buy this paper and try it out, because somebody that I like uses this paper as well. So, and this paper is super nice quality. It takes the colored pencils really well and just makes everything look super like buttery and smooth, and I really like how that looked. This paper I purchased at Blick in the larger sheet. As I said, they do now sell like paper pads with the multicolored tone paper in them, so if you're interested in checking the paper out, I definitely recommend getting the pad of paper rather than the large sheets, because they just released the paper pads, so it's a lot easier than buying the huge sheet and then cutting it down. So yeah, if you're looking for good paper, definitely check this paper out. It's super nice, and it just, the colored pencils look really good on it. So the image itself was originally drawn to go along with my Elsa drawing that I colored like 1,000 years ago. That was the Elsa drawing that I did for the like Crayola challenge, where I used only Crayola colored pencils and just computer paper. So this image and that image were meant to go together. I will put a link to the Elsa video if you'd like to watch it somewhere on the screen right now. Look, but yeah, these are kind of meant to be companion pieces, and I wanted to color one with the, I guess, cheaper colored pencils, and then one with my more expensive colored pencils, which are my Polychromos. I'm not using Prismacolor colored pencils for this. I am using my Faber Castell Polychromos. I just dropped a pencil. Yeah, as I said, I am using the Faber Castell Polychromos colored pencils. This is really the first time I've ever actually used these colored pencils. I've had them for a long time. I originally bought them to use for doing my ball jointed doll face ups. And then I found out that I bought the wrong set of colored pencils. I needed the Albrecht watercolored pencils by Faber Castell. So I just didn't want to return these because it's kind of hard to return stuff that you bought online. So I just kept them, and I'm like, someday I'll use them as soon as I use up my Prismacolors. And my Prismacolor color pencils are almost gone now. Like, they're all down to little stubs. So I decided to try these out. instead of using my Prismacolors. And I like these ones so much more. They're just so much more, like, they lay down a lot smoother than the Prismacolors in my opinion. But I don't really have much experience coloring with colored pencils. A lot of the work that I did with my old Prismacolor colored pencils was done for school projects and stuff. I've never really colored any of my illustration work with colored pencils like this, which is why you've never seen a colored pencil video from me, because I've never really colored much with colored pencils before. I usually only work with my like Crayolas when I'm traveling. I have a like an adult or fine art coloring book that I take with me when I travel, and that's really the only thing that I use colored pencils in. So it was a really interesting experience to actually color something that was my own work with colored pencils rather than coloring like in a coloring book or something like that. And since I don't have that much experience color with colored pencils, I don't really have like a technique that I do when I'm working with them. I kind of just lay down color and see where it goes. So I got asked a couple times on Instagram about like how I layered the colors and stuff like that. I generally tended to work from light to dark. Sometimes I would work from dark to light depending on what I was coloring. Like I know her hair, I laid down some of the darks and then worked from light to dark then, with some of the darks laid down first. But yeah, I don't really have any rhyme or reason about how I went about coloring this. I just kind of did what felt nice and what felt good and what got the result that I was looking for. When I first started coloring this, I actually went over the pencil lines with a different color pencil. This was just drawn with just a regular like HB pencil. I went over it with my one of my Col-Erase pencils in, I think it was Tuscan Red, which is my two favorite colors are Tuscan Red and Terracotta. I've used them in a bunch of my videos. But that ended up kind of being pointless since you weren't able to see the pencil lines when the final image was fully colored anyway. But since I don't color with colored pencils all that much, I didn't know that. But yeah, I was just worried that the pencil would smear with the colored pencils, but that didn't end up being a problem with these ones. They really kind of stuck in their place, but I don't know if that was because the image was drawn so long ago that it was kind of ingrained in the paper. But yeah, I didn't end up minding the just like regular pencil with the colored pencils at all. I was testing out these colored pencils on a separate like spiral notebook. You can see it sometimes. It's just another Stonehenge pad of paper. It wasn't the same tone of paper. It was just like an off-white ivory color. But I was just testing out how the pencils blended together better, or how they blended together on the paper before I laid them down on the final image, because I wasn't sure like really what colors I was going for, or how I wanted to mix the colors together to get the colors that I wanted and stuff like that. It was right at the end of this illustration that I totally realized that I completely forgot about the details on the front of Anna's like dress, the black part of her dress. So I actually went in with some Holbein Gouache, I think is how you pronounce that name of that brand. And then I just did that quickly with a little bit of gouache paint that I had. So, and I actually liked the way that looked. So, and it wasn't too like overpowering to like take away from the color palette that I was going for. Alright, so I guess that is all I have time for. If you guys would like to see more colored pencil illustrations from me, please let me know in the comments down below, and I can do a couple more because it was actually really fun and I enjoyed it a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys shortly for the next video. Bye!